Burn them bow down, making Dylan heat drum. Oh, are we rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Oh man, welcome back to another episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama, where we give you guys advice to help you, the listener, get through the everyday struggles of living, because God knows there are thousands. I think in today's episode, we have the first update Mike and Dylan Hates Drama has ever received.
Yep, from a submission story.
And it is wild. We have a couple stories. We have a, what do you call the audio ones?
The call-ins.
We have a call-in, which is dope, and you can find that on the website, mikeanddylan.com, mikeanddylan.com. And per usual, you can submit stories, or you can submit...
Asking for advice.
Yes, there's submissions. You can submit submissions.
We don't typically read the ones that are just like, hey, we love the show. So, like, if you want advice from something, you want to tell us an asshole story.
Then at the end, you could put how much you love the show, and we'll probably be more biased on your side. You can be like, hey, I'm a drug dealer. My wife just left me because I do all these drugs.
And I only sell drugs to children.
That's it. Yeah, only to children and only fentanyl in amounts that I know will cause them to overdose. But love the show, guys. And I'm like, well, obviously she needs to just enjoy the money, okay, and shut the fuck up.
You're an upstanding citizen.
All right, so we're going to read the original story. And the original goes, am I the asshole for cutting ties with my friend? Dear Mike and Dylan, I'm sorry I didn't make it to the June 15th reach around behind the Denny's in Thomasville, North Carolina extravaganza. I was ready for a Mike reach around, but I don't live in the area. This is my girlfriend's story, Crystal. All names are fake. She feels really upset because she is losing a friend and needs advice. Crystal, 40 female, and Heaven, 34 female, both work together. They bonded over their relationship issues and drinking. Heaven has 2 kids, John and Jess. I just smiled if you were watching the video one, and that is because I know the twist that's coming.
You mean you just smiled if you're listening to the audio one?
Whatever. If you're watching the video one, okay? And I apologize to the person who put this in, but I am going to smile because it's fucked, all right? And we will get through this together, okay? Crystal and I started to work on our relationship, and we started to drink less, which really helped. Heaven continued to fight with her man to the point where they were in screaming matches in front of the kids, and one would leave and then come back a couple hours later. Heaven would tell Crystal about how she was craving sex because her man could not have sex with her due to medical and relationship issues. Heaven started to hang out with an old friend of hers, Dennis, 34 male, who is a drug addict and has allegedly had sexual relations with a 16-year-old. Yesterday, Heaven told Crystal that she took Jess and her friend Kim, 16 female, to Dennis's house. She told the kids it's for a wellness check, but it was really for some male attention. Crystal told her that she's not okay with that due to past traumas, and the guy is obviously gross. Crystal and I said that if she wants to be destructive, to not bring the kids and get them involved. Heaven told Crystal about how much fun the kids had, and Heaven has never heard them laugh like that before. They all got home at 5 a.m. Last night, Crystal and Heaven had a long talk about the whole situation. Crystal tried to tell her that it is wrong, that this is the wrong path and could lead to something bad happening to Jess and her friend. Heaven was making excuses because she loved the attention of another man and access to drugs. Crystal decided that the best course of action is to cut ties with Heaven and focus on us. So, Mike and Dylan, is Crystal the asshole for cutting ties with Heaven because of her bad decision making? In the original, we said Crystal was not the asshole. Obviously, if your friend is hanging out with a drug dealer and doing drugs,
a pedophile drug dealer,
then that is terrible. We then received an update on our Reddit, which is MADHD. If you guys want to fucking join, how about fucking join the Reddit, okay? Come hang out with us and post shit and just let's all pick on each other. God. Update on Crystal and Heaven's story you won't believe. Hey, Mike and Dylan, it was me who wrote the story about my GF, my girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, Crystal, and her friend Heaven. So Crystal went to hang out with a friend of hers from work yesterday night. She didn't come back until 11 with a text saying we need to talk. She then told me that she cheated on me with a random guy she met. So I politely told her to get her shit and get the fuck out, to which she did. After she left, I made sure to tell Heaven's man what she was doing behind his back, sorry. So at around 2, I get a call from an unknown number. I pick it up and it's fucking Dennis. He's telling me that the whole thing with the minor was made up. He's gay and he's never had sex with Heaven. He then tells me Crystal has been making up stories about Dennis so she can go over there with Heaven and have sex with at least 3 different guys and doing ice with them. Ice is methamphetamines, guys. God damn. He sent me all the text messages to prove it. I asked him why he called me, and he said he wanted to clear the air with Heaven's man. I let him know the whole story. Crystal then changes her relationship status from in a relationship to single back to in a relationship with this meth head. Listen, I know what I did was right. Kick that bitch out. I just couldn't believe how this whole story ends. This is your story, brother. Listen, I apologize that happened to you.
I'm thankful it happened.
In like a couple of years, you're going to realize how much of a blessing in disguise it is because A, she cheated on you. That's horrible. That's something you never do. No matter how, look, I don't know how you are in a relationship, but it's never okay, no matter how bad the person is, to say, I am committed to you and then go fuck somebody else. Never cool. On top of that, doing the meth. Look, like I said, in a couple, it might not even take that long.
Months, weeks.
Right now, you can't tell me you ain't hurt. Look, from the first story, you were believing the lies. And that sucks, okay? And you do want to believe the person that is closest to you. It sucks dick. In a couple of months, you're going to realize that essentially the best course of action played out. And I hope you do find that person that is your person that is willing to stick by you and not go fuck another guy while doing meth.
Well, see, the crazy thing is like, I'm thankful she came home and told him right then, because technically she could have kept covering this shit up. And so like, really, this is the best course of action is she came clean, which then gets you to just be like, fuck you, bitch, you're gone. And so now you get like, and you got to figure out a little bit of the behind the scenes of what lie she was telling, because you went and like, rightfully or wrongfully, I mean, I think you were doing the right thing saying what you said. However, it is a lie, so now you got to correct that. But like, technically you got to hear all the details, and it wasn't just one guy, it was 3 fucking guys. And so like, you dodged a bullet big time, and it's not easy.
And look, you can't convince me Heaven ain't completely innocent.
No, probably not.
Like, I think that maybe what she's going on ain't as bad as like 3 guys with meth. Dennis has meth going on at his house, so obviously not a good guy. I don't give a fuck if he's gay or not. He's inviting people to come smoke meth at his house and fuck 3 different guys over there. So I'm not going to say that I trust Dennis's word on a goddamn thing. Yeah. Dennis could come up and tell me what the fuck ever, and I can see it with my own eyes. I'm still not going to trust Dennis. All right.
Well, the crazy thing is like, we don't really know technically if she fucked the guys over at his house or they were doing ice at his house. Like, we just know that was going on. Like, I mean, technically he could just be the guy that's in the know because he's the gay guy that's friends with the girls. And like, I'm not throwing Heaven under the bus and saying that she's guilty, but I'm also not saying she's innocent. The thing is, though,
saying he's gay. I know he sent you texts that prove things to you, but brother, look, we're gonna have a heart to heart right now. You do be believing stuff.
Well, I mean, you do believe your significant other.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you do. Like, it's just natural. And my thing is with Heaven, though, is like, Heaven could be completely innocent in this, and it could just be Crystal projecting through that story to try and be like, oh, I got to go over there to protect my friend. And there might not be that might just be her excuse, like guys do. Like, oh, I'm going to go do this thing with the guys, and then they go off and fuck some girl. So, like, right. It could... Heaven could be innocent. Dennis could be innocent. Not saying they are, but like, really, the only person that was responsible to you was Crystal, and she was a shit. So.
One time, one of my wife's friends got angry with me, and I didn't even know they were angry until we got back home. So we go to like a celebration station or something. I fucking forget what it is, but it's a place where you go and play games and shit. So there's another friend there, and this other friend talks about how crazy and abusive her boyfriend is. And like, he beats on her all the time and does all this shit, okay? So then we're sitting at a table, and they're talking about something, and you know how, like, you're a dude. You don't give a fuck what they're talking about. You're just, like, paying attention to the world around you. Well, it starts to click what they're talking about, and, like, shit starts, like, you know, coming back into focus for me. And I'm like, what? And they're like, well, yeah, so... if he asks, she's going to like a friend that we know. Mm-hmm. She's going over there to hang with them, but really she's going to go meet another guy and fuck him. And she was mad because she was like, you could tell like Michael's face was just sitting there and discuss. I'm like, yeah, like you're telling me your whorish activities. And they're like, oh, you did that stuff when I was young. Yeah, when I was young and dumb and like I wasn't fucking married to somebody and I didn't have a kid with them or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
break it off.
And when I was fucking stupid. Also, that aside, the cheating aside, didn't you just say this man was like beating you and he was going to kill you? What do you think is the straw that breaks the camel's back here? When he finds out you're off fucking some other guy? Come to find out, I've never heard a girl post anything about the dude. He's still friends with me on Facebook. Never heard a girl post anything about the guy, about him beating him or anything like that. Comes off as just kind of like a normal fucking guy. So, some bitches, some guys, okay, we're fucking all inclusive. Goddamn. But people make shit up about the other person to make their actions seem not as bad. They do that. And they do it in their head too. They'll make up that you are a terrible fucking person to validate the shit that they are doing to you.
Well, he didn't actually beat me. He just said really mean things to me. And I felt like it was beating me.
But literally, like, she had sent me a message about, like, you couldn't even keep a straight face when she told you that.
Who?
Yeah.
Your wife said that?
No, my wife's friend did.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, yeah, I don't want to fucking be behind the scenes on that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, why do I have to be in the know? Why? Also, why am I involved?
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to hit me up and be like, hey, what is... And they were just like, can you... Because I remember somebody saying, can you fix your face? Because I'm not a guy who tends to, like, hold anything back.
I'm surprised you didn't say anything in the moment.
Oh, yeah, I was, like, making jokes or something like that. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the plans to fucking, you know, get a story together while she goes and whorish activities was brought up, too. They were mad about that, but I was like, I can't help your friend's a slut. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't fucking control my face.
Well, yeah, it's 100% different when somebody is single and sleeping around and somebody is married and sleeping around. Like, those are two totally different scenarios. Like, a single girl, yeah, she doesn't owe anything to anybody. You know, like, if you want to call her a slut, that's on you. But, like, I mean,
so it's their big thing. Their big arguing point was that when I had met Amy, who is my wife now, I was dating this girl. But we had only been together for 6 months. And also, I was like 19, she was 17. And like, she was the one where her parents would not let her fucking do anything. So we really didn't get to see each other either. And then she was also the one that, like, we had broken up for like a month. And then she rattled off like 19 people she had slept with.
In a month?
Yeah, in a month. And I was just like, God damn. Like, she was like trying to get me to admit that I had slept with this one girl she didn't like. Which, listen, yes, I was like cheating. I was a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Nothing about that relationship is committed. Also, does that like abstain me from any fault? No. Like, I was a terrible person. I was just young and dumb. Honestly, like if someone's like, you know, they cheated on their partner with 4 different people and they're like, they're 36. I'm like, that's terrible. If they were like, they're 18, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think.
It was dumb.
That's when it was dumb. I don't think that's when like the serious shit starts. Like, I'm sorry if that happens to you when you're young, which is why we told that one kid who was like falling in love with that girl who just said hey to him, to possibly like take a step back before you get your heart broke. Once again, man, I am sorry that this is happening to you. I do think that eventually it will be a blessing in disguise.
It
is. Yeah. Like, at no point, it's not going to be like 2 years from now she's going to be the CEO of a big business. This ain't a Darman fucking goddamn video where it's like they judged her because she smoked meth while sucking off 3 guys and just having a dick party with meth, but then became CEO and now you're the janitor at her company. No, fuck it doesn't work like that.
So
man.
My wife started watching the Martha Stewart story. Like, I guess there's like a documentary on Netflix or something, and Martha Stewart herself was talking about like how her husband was like cheating on her with like all these guys or all these girls. I'm sorry, all these women.
Like, that's different because like how it's so like I'm mad. I'm mad that you lied to me, okay? And you was like, yeah, you love me when you don't even love me types, like me species, like that.
But no, he was sleeping around with like all these attractive women and everything. And then the interviewer's like, but didn't you have an affair like with this other guy before he started cheating on you? She's like, yeah, but he didn't know about it. And the interviewer's like, no, he said he knew about it. He said you told him about it. And then like my wife's like, I was just trying to point out that like accountability just like flew right beyond her.
Right? Yeah.
Just,
Like, well, was she in prison when he was doing it?
no, this was like when she was like freshly married. Like they went on like this 5-month like honeymoon tour.
Are they
and
still married?
No,
Okay,
no.
I was just.
But like they went out and then she like slept with this. The way that she described it was like this very beautiful Irish man, and like she fucked him, and then afterwards, like he started sleeping around on her, but like she just tried to like avoid the accountability of her going outside the marriage initially. Did not take any sort of like blame for that at all. And then like I guess while she was out, she like was like kissing some other person at some other thing, and like no, it's not her fault at all. Like she didn't like ruin the marriage prior to that, and then they were just staying together because like, you know, whatever.
God bless America, like Jesus Christ. So yeah, I went around and fucked some bitches too. Like just divorce, bro. Just cut it off. An Irishman is like, you never hear that. Like I just saw this beautiful Irishman. You know what they say about the Irish. So it's not 12 inches, but it smells like a foot. So mayonnaise dick. Yeah. Look, we said it without having to put it at the end.
Force it in. Yeah.
Don't Fold the Maps is going to be real fucking happy about that.
And it's early in the episode too.
All right. What the hell did I do? The city I work for is selling the zoo I work at. Hey, Mike and Dylan. Love the content. Never thought I would be sending in a submission, but shit has hit the fan at work and I'm at my wit's end and was curious to hear some advice. So I'm kind of hesitant on reading this story because
he was never going to submit.
Well, how many zoos are getting sold right now? I'm just saying. You don't know what could happen. I just did the whole on two daddies. So yeah, that could be the thing that people share. It could be a meme thing. You don't fucking know what makes people be like, I like this now. But then the zoo sees it and they feed this person to a crocodile, and then that's on us.
Well, he had originally put the town in there and then decided to take the town out. So
he doesn't want to. I mean, brother, how many zoos are getting sold? Listen. Rest in peace, this beautiful submitter. I will look in the belly of the crocodile. I will. I am a zookeeper in a small city in Texas. Narrow it down even more. And we are currently up shit creek without a paddle. The reason being is that this city is selling to an organization that has zero experience in the field of exotic animals. Son, when it comes to money, you don't have to have experience with nothing. All right. We make these animals jump. They say how high and we get the dollars. Okay. The sale is very immoral as the city gives zero shits on whether or not we have jobs after the sale is done because the new buyers don't want to keep the old staff, and this is in the contract that they are signing. On top of that, the lady buying the zoo is coming up here with her staff, causing problems, stress, and drama. She is also requesting that the city have us train her staff before we are fired. So what should we do? I'm curious to hear both Dylan's calm, cool, and collected take as well as to hear what Mike has to say. I am hoping that the staff can have a good enough laugh with how y'all present stuff. So, look, and anybody's take should be this. Don't fucking, well, God damn it. Because here's the thing. If you don't fucking train them, you know, animals are going to be malnourished. They're going to get fucking treated poorly. So in any other circumstance, I would not tell somebody to train your replacement. On the other hand, there's fucking innocent animals on the other side of this. So I would suggest like just show them a little bit of stuff, especially if there's like complete ineptitude about like the new staff that's coming. B, you know, handling animals isn't the easiest thing to do. There's a lot of strict regulations and shit like that. So I would also take the opportunity while you're training to maybe try to get some dirt on some fucking people there. And obviously, if this lady's bringing in her own staff, she has like connections with these people, especially if you could find the connections with like some of the bigger wigs that are there, and you can anything. I mean, listen, I guarantee you Texas is not a two-party state. You can secretly record shit. North Carolina's one-party state. I'd be recording like a motherfucker, everything I fucking could. Because if you can really get that dirt to at least, you know, postpone either the sale or the actual, you know, running of the zoo, which hopefully, listen, and it does suck for you because you were losing a job. Hopefully the staff is not inept. They're not bad people and they come in and they treat the animals right.
Yeah.
And the stress and drama is just, you know, a company moving from one hand to another, or, you know, one competent hand to a hand of, well, yeah, I'd like to run a zoo. That's some Mike shit. If Mike had money, just be like, a zoo? I could do that, bro. Easy. Fucking elephants, what do you feed them? Peanuts, bro. That's it. Feed them peanuts. Say, hey, good elephant. Like, you're not like Barnum and Bailey out there whipping them. But yeah, just let's suss them out. It does give you an opportunity to suss them out. I guarantee you that, being in Texas, there's not a shortage of wildlife reserves, zoos, and shit like that. So I do think you'll be able to land somewhere relatively decent, and also training that staff for the benefit of the animals does give you time to find a job somewhere else at another zoo. It is a really hard predicament that you're going in, because any other time I would say fucking punch them in the face, tell them to suck your dick, or train them wrong in the funniest goddamn way possible. But when there's like innocent life on the other side of that, like, listen, fuck a crocodile. I don't want to see one getting starved to death in a fucking zoo. Like, nothing. I think zoos are shitty anyways.
Well, we've all watched Tiger King.
Right, so I've never walked into a zoo and been like, wow, these animals look happy that we're here. They're always like confused or depressed or sad. I've never seen a happy animal. Like, all the animals look like they would rather be anywhere else than at a fucking zoo. And I get it, you know, it's good for research or whatever the fuck y'all say to make yourselves feel better. But I don't want to see an animal get treated any worse than already being at a zoo. So I do say, stay there, train them. If you see something shitty going on, try to document it, record it. Like I said, a zoo has all these regulations that they have to uphold. If any shitty shit comes out, that will either postpone the opening, or, because, you know, once it's open, that's usually when the treatment gets worse. People are more concerned about, you know, the customers coming through the gate than the animals. So I don't know. Dylan can give his advice, but that's the best I got.
So my thing is you have a livelihood, so go ahead and start looking for your job, no matter what. Like, and I'm sorry, but like, if you get a job and they want you to come before you finish up training these people, you dip. You got to take care of your life and your situation. You don't want to like wait on the line just so that you can make sure these animals are okay. That's not your responsibility. I don't want the animals to be mistreated and all that, but ultimately you've got a responsibility to you and your family and all that stuff. So take care of yourself, number one. I don't think it's bad if you were to stick around and train them. However, like, that my take was going to be like, go back to the place and keep viewing how the animals are being taken care of. Like, what's their condition? What's their health afterwards? Like, go ahead and do that investigative, like, oh shit, the fucking tiger's lost like 50 pounds since we've left. Like, what's going on here? And then do report any sort of abuse or anything that you can see if they're not properly taking care of them. But like Mike said, like, you can do that while training too. Like, see if anybody's not holding up their end of the bargain, and if they aren't, then, you know, try to get them taken out so that a new person can come in that actually does care. Ultimately, I think probably the people that are going to be working with the animals every day probably will care, just like you do, just like, you know, probably your other fellow employees. But in order to make sure that those are safe, like, yeah, you can do a little behind the scenes, whether it's wear meta glasses or a fucking Insta360, like, go ahead and do the investigative part of it to ensure that those animals are cared for properly. But you aren't responsible for them. You take care of your own. And then
I have a little thing to add here. The thing is, though, is zoo customer, you know, viewer at a zoo sees terrible shit going on is not a headline. Employee at said zoo, because if you're training staff, you are an employee.
Yeah,
see shit going on. That's a lot bigger one. And I'm not saying, like, of course, like, if you're training the people, you know you're going to get fired. You always need to have a job lined up. And if the other zoo, for whatever reasons, like, no, don't work a 2-week notice, you come here now. Hey, they're going to fucking run you ragged. You better get some squinchers.
Well, no, they'll like, all I'm saying is, if in the 2 weeks, you're not going to train these people up in 2 weeks. So like, don't wait 2 months to try and go looking for a job.
Right,
go ahead and start that process right now, because you know you're losing it. So, and the thing is, though, with that is, like, you're still going to be in there behind the scenes training, but like, if you have footage of how healthy these animals were while you guys are running it, and then you can compare it to, like, look at how sickly these animals are now, that is still a story. Like, former employee. Also, bringing up the topic.
Something we have not thought about. You said that a lady was buying it. You did not say that, like, a corporation or there was a guy there too. So, rich lady coming in. Maybe she likes animals, wants to run a zoo. You're very knowledgeable about these animals. Maybe you.
What was her name? Carol Baskins.
You can't don't talk shit about her. They'll put you in jail. Which, listen, Tiger King was like raping young men with meth.
Yeah,
which is a thing. So let's keep that guy behind bars. Like, if he's somebody Donald Trump like him or hate him, if he's someone that he won't pardon,
probably means he's
he should probably be in there. They're like, oh, these were, if somebody had your 18-year-old kid doing meth and fucking them and they're not gay, fucking keep that guy in prison.
Yeah.
Keep him locked away in a cell, deep dark
and he
cell
made
somewhere.
multiple. Like, I mean, what Liver King is getting in trouble for right now? Like, he made those same threats against fucking Carol Baskins.
Liver King versus kicking the Liver King. Listen, that's a terrible. I would never, like, Carol Baskins, that's easy. Like, I feel like Tiger King could beat up Carol Baskins. On no planet could Liver King actually beat up someone who trains every single fucking day and is just built like a muscular meatball like Joe Rogan is. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But you could swoon that lady, fuck her, and then you get the keys to the kingdom. You get all the riches. That's another take you haven't even thought of. And then, technically, all those animals become your animals.
Yep.
And you're like their dad. So...
And then there's a Netflix
just
documentary.
try fucking the lady, okay? Before we jump to any crazy fucking conclusions, just try having sex with her, all right?
What if he's married?
Does your wife have a whole zoo and bunch of money?
Is she polyamorous? Is
Yes.
your wife polyamorous?
Because if she is, I can already imagine you have a mohawk and multiple piercings, all right? I don't know. Technically, I just shitted on people with mohawks. It's always people with like the straight hair that looks really greasy and then so like got blue tips on it, and then the multiple piercings, and they always look like they just got out of a really hot car. So, but yeah, I hope that was enough to solve your problems. Fucking Jesus Christ!
Oh yeah, this one's for you.
Why me?
I'll read it
why
for
does
you.
it look like I'm fucking diagnosing? Let's play the audio.
It's my phone's over there. You have to grab it for me.
Oh man.
I don't want to play the audio with the fan going though, because I don't want the noise cancellation to be taking out the fan and then
We're gonna dub it over with the regular audio, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
All
a
right,
little
Mike.
behind the scenes. We dub it over with the video or the audio that we actually have, so you don't get the through the mic audio.
Which
But
is
we
not
still
that
get to
much
hear it.
better, but
Yeah, no. If you guys do a voice submission, just make sure you're not like driving in a car. Make sure in a nice quiet
windows
place.
up. Like,
Yeah, because we get like
this one
just-
has some turn signal in it though.
Does it? We
Yeah.
just get some just like going down the highway, all four windows down, just, hey, Mike and Dylan, fucking love you guys. Mostly Ricky from Oklahoma. All
Yeah.
right.
Shout out Ricky.
Shout out Ricky, bro, every day.
Calls us every day.
Every day, bro. If I have nobody checking in on me, I know I got Ricky checking in on me.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry we don't play all of them, Ricky, but we still love you.
What's up, Mike and Dylan? It's Eric. So, my thing is, I worked a technical job, worked it for years, got to the point where, you know, you're tired of it, you're like, oh shit, I can't wait till this shit's over with, yada yada. Well, I got to that point, and I got that shiny shoes job behind the desk, and this has gotten old quick, like, I can't even, I don't even feel productive doing this job. It's so freaking easy. But I'm stuck, like, I don't know if I want to go back to the floor and then start breaking myself again, or do I just figure out how to grind this office life out. But these other dudes always just, like, super chill with it. And I guess coming from the floor, you're like, you expect more from people, I guess, the people around you. I'm not sure, but it's starting to get old. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Take care.
We will take care. Wow. Well, what a beautiful way to end that. I want to be like Delilah. Everybody's heard of that bitch, by the way. Yeah, everybody's heard of her. I didn't. I thought that was like a North Carolina thing.
Oh no, everywhere.
I thought that was like a Lexington, North Carolina
Syndicated.
thing. Yeah. But here's the thing. So there is a reason why people on the floor hate on management. Because we see how little, when like y'all motherfuckers in the office, why is it every time we got 100% success rate of walking into the office, y'all dicking off? Like doing nothing, just sitting there talking. Two people just talking. It is a lighter workload. Like it is not as strenuous as breaking your fucking back, grinding down your knuckles, destroying your fucking ankles, your knees, all that shit. It is a lot lighter. And if you are wanting to be more productive, nobody is stopping you from doing more. I understand once you get into the rhythm of doing less like I said, I worked in a box shop 12 hours, 7 days a week, and I moved up to a management position. And I told stories about going up to lead man and how the fucking supervisor would just be like, yeah, let's just hang out and smoke cigarettes. I'm like, I feel like we're doing nothing. And then I went back to doing something, and it did suck. Okay, it will suck going back to that. And I assume you are probably being paid more. So if you want to find that productivity, and it doesn't even have to be productivity pertaining to the fucking company, you can just fucking start working on your own shit. As long as you're not fucking around and it's taking time out of what you normally do, start working on your own shit. Fucking little side ways to make money, learning new fucking skills or something like that.
Make some of those fantasy novels that the women like to listen to.
Yeah, make some Twilight fanfics where Edward and Jacob. Yeah, where Edward and Jacob, they push Bella to the side and they find out they actually have a blossoming relationship and they have little vampire werewolf babies. All right, just you could do that, but there's a reason why people on the floor have that resentment. They're in there busting their ass. The workload is more spread out in the office. It is delegated a lot better. It is air conditioned, and you are sitting down, and it just feels like you're not sitting there busting your fucking ass. So I am going to say I understand. You start yearning for the grind again. You starting to get a little bit fat. That is a good thing. Maybe work out, do a little jogging thing, get a stand-up desk. You don't need to go back to the floor because you're going to immediately regret it, and it's really hard to get a position like that. Just soak up all the experience you can. If you want to move into something different, maybe what you're doing in the office is not for you. You could try to move into sales or something like that. But where you're at now, it's going to be a lot easier to move from different departments inside of an office than it is if you were on the floor. So stick with what you're doing. Maybe start hanging out with some other people in a different department that you want to be in. Don't just go back to the floor, though, because you are going to immediately realize that you fucked up.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing is, like, yes, it's not as productive, but you can be as productive as you want. Like, your job is to do said things. And, like, you can find other things. Like, when I was working at the pipeline, I worked on Excel spreadsheets that weren't necessary, but, like, I was coming up with, like, a new system that we were going to do. And I just fucking sat there and Googled and just did shit just for...
Does not sound like all the PUBG you played.
Oh, no, we did a lot of that. But that was actually more when I was... working like the manual side of things than I did when I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was more like when I was like a rover and stuff like that.
But I mean, we worked at a box shop. We were still busting our ass and playing fucking Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah,
and we just fucking go in there, and I had 4 fingers like mastered, and I'd be fucking. People would just be like this. And I'd be like jumping around and fucking just like, and they'd be like, what is that? I'm like, it's the autism and the ADHD. It makes me a superhuman when I play video games. It literally does. Like, I'm fucking cracked at video games, card games, shit like that.
Yeah. But like the thing is you, like Mike said, you don't necessarily have to like stay with the bounds of what you got. And there's plenty of ways that you can advance yourself, like get all your work done and then move on to whatever the fuck you want to do. Like you could read other stuff. You could read books. You could, take on other activities. And then, yeah, if you need more like outlet, if you're not working out now, work out in the morning, get that energy out so that you feel like you've like done something physical. But the big thing is you're not going to get younger. So like the people on the floor that are, 50 look like they're 70 because they've just put themselves through the ringer. So don't go back to that. Like, I mean, you can, it's your choice, but like, you're not going to get younger. Your body's not going to keep up with it better. So if you're just looking for that, find that in other avenues and stick with the job that probably does pay better, probably doesn't tax you as much. You're probably not as tired when you get home. Like, go ahead and find ways to exert yourself outside of work, because then at least you're enjoying it rather than.
And there's got to be at least one pretty bitch in the office, bro. Start flirting. Like, what are you doing? Like, that'll make your day go by.
What about the married man?
Listen. He's probably married, but look.
But then he's going to end up fucking her because that's what ends up happening. No, you don't
have to do that. Jesus Christ, it does not always end up with fucking. You can have a...
It leads to that 90% of the time.
I don't put myself in that position, so I fucking know. So, but look, man, fucking...
If you see the work receptionist more often than you see your wife, then it's going to eventually lead to something.
Look, maybe pick up some cornhole.
There you go.
put a cornhole board in the office. Something, bro.
Or pick up smoking, like you said, and just go and spend half your day outside smoking.
At least, this is the least you can do. At least get enough fucking experience. Do it for a fucking year. So if you go back to the floor and you're like, I fucked up, you can go somewhere else and work in an office again. You don't want to just have that floor experience and then try to get an office job somewhere else. And they're like, well, we don't know because you never did it before. And
Or
like,
you make yourself so good that you end up becoming the boss of all the people that you say aren't doing good enough. And then you're the boss and you're like, come on, guys, now you got to fucking do it because I'm your boss. So like, if you don't, I'm going to fire you.
bro, our old plant manager, like, he would go out to lunch and then we wouldn't see him for the rest of the day. And then he'd show up at like, because we would work 7 to 7. He'd come back in like it's like 6 o'clock. And the supervisor would be like, where'd you go? And he'd be like, oh, I went to fucking Applebee's. And then I started drinking and I fell asleep in my car.
Damn.
And then he'd just go right back into his office. And we're just like, all right, fuck.
See, I had a maintenance guy. I don't know whether he didn't like going home or what, but like it didn't matter what time I drove by that plant. Like he would always, like the maintenance supervisor was literally always at the plant. And it'd be like 11 o'clock on a Saturday. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I have never understood how the fuck every maintenance, like if you work in maintenance, you're a little bit lazy. All right. You're a little bit self-absorbed. Everything's operator error. You want to get off your ass and do nothing. The maintenance supervisor is like a goddamn drill sergeant.
Yeah.
So how the fuck is everybody in maintenance so goddamn lazy? Because I've worked at many a fucking places. Hey, my machine fell. Oh my God. Can you not see I'm working? You're sitting on a bucket. Yeah, but I was thinking about work, which is like work.
I was trying to solve a problem that was...
Maintenance supervisor, he's missing a limb. Always across the board. Missing a limb, an eye, a finger, or something. All right. Fucking buzz cut, has a fucking trucker hat on. Everything else is like the full goddamn maintenance uniform. And I mean, in his mind, he runs a tight ship. And his guys are fucking the most elite trained killers of machines ever. That guy is super fucking serious and will work 16, 18, 20 fucking hours.
Oh, he was just always there. Like, I mean, he was working, but like he was always in his office. Like he was never like,
and they're always
turning a wrench.
Dicks.
Yes.
The supervisor is like you see where the others get it from.
I almost got fired because I went on vacation for literally a weekend. I was going to leave out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I put it in like months prior, and it got to be, I think it was Thursday. He's like, sorry, you can't take off this weekend. We got this maintenance we got to do. Like PM, we're changing out a roller or something like that. And I was like, dude, no, I put that in months ago. Like you had to plan around that. Like you knew you were going to be a man down. Like you should have done this last weekend, next weekend, whatever. But like, this is not happening this weekend. I'm going. And he's like, no, sorry. Like you got to come in. So then I went and made myself throw up. Like I stuck my finger down my throat, had the watery eyes and everything. I'm like, ugh. And then walked up to him and be like, man, I'm sick. I got to go home. And so I went to the beach on Thursday instead of on Friday.
Fuck yeah.
And then he calls on, or I call in on Friday morning. I'm like, man, I'm still feeling sick. Like I won't be able to make it in. He's like, well, you better show up with the doctor's note. And I was like, okay, all right.
How long were y'all's preventative maintenance? Y'all's PMs?
What do you mean? Like
when y'all had to like shut a machine down or whatever to do it?
It was all day. Like, I mean, we'd take down a machine like when
Ours
it wasn't going to be running.
Day, and it's so crazy how they could bend time to make all day 2 hours or an hour and a half. Or look, we just got this thing coming in, so this maintenance that we have to do, we just ain't going to do it. And when the machine fucks up, it's your fault, by the way.
That was actually the weekend that they had taken the front end off of an extruder, a plastic extruder, and then it shot melting plastic all over everybody. And the one guy that I would have been working with, I would have been like right there and got covered in hot melted plastic too. So like I dodged a bullet pretty hardcore on that one.
Yeah, we had one that had like hot melt glue.
Yeah.
And this was not actually at a place where it was corrugated board. This was at a different place. It was paperboard. So they have one that uses hot melt glue, and one of the maintenance guys was working on it and it fucking exploded all over. But he got like real fucked up. I don't know if he lived.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like
I mean, that's what happened to this guy. He got it like all over him, like, and like had third-degree burns. This was in 2000.
Well, you said a fucking extruder, so never mind.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was a hot glue extruder.
This happened in like 2021.
It was a hot melt machine that extruded the glue through and then put it through a head that went on. It wasn't boxes; it was fabric. But the thing is like when I got back on Monday,
that'd have been crazy right there, bro. If we were like.
But then I got back on
gay if you think about
on Monday, and my boss, he's like, "Do you have your doctor's note?" And I was like, "No, I was only out for 2 days. Like, I'm not." No, he's like, "You were out for 3 days because you were required to be here Saturday." I was like, "No, like that's overtime. That's not mandatory. Like you were just telling me that I had to work it, but like I was out half a day on Thursday and then all of Friday. So like I don't need a doctor's note. And so like he literally was going in to write me up, and then he got in trouble for it because he was being an asshole. I was also friends with the plant manager, so like plant manager wasn't going to let him fire me.
Wait, is that the plant manager you talked to that one time? No, that was a different one.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it was funny just because like he was trying to get me in trouble, and then he actually got in trouble for trying to get me in trouble.
Well, he was also probably in trouble for what had just went down on Saturday too.
Yeah,
so
probably.
He was getting like a whole just cake of shit.
Yeah, they emptied out the glue out of the extruder, and so it was supposed to be empty, but that front piece just had enough like in the screw to like cause enough pressure to build up, because they have to get it hot to take it apart, because it's basically glued together with all the glue in there. And then once they like released the pressure on it, it just like squirted everywhere. And
I don't know what happened with this guy, but it was like, so they were working on the machine and they turned on one part, which the whole machine, anybody who's worked in a box shop, like these are a lot different in paperboard. It's the closest, I didn't work there long. It's the closest thing that I can compare it to is like it's like a corrugator. It puts however fuck paperboard goes together. Like I said, I did not work with paperboard long. I know a lot about it, like, corrugated board and how that's fucking put together. But so there's this one part that spins. So the fucking thing that put the glue on there, that fucking, I don't know how paperboard goes together. It fucking it was like a sack or some shit or in a box or something. And that just essentially broke free and hit the fucking ceiling and just like spit it all on him.
oh geez.
And he was right there, and his whole body, like whole frontal part. And they said by the time they got him out, his skin was fucking peeling off and shit. And
because it's like 300 and some degrees to melt that plastic.
I worked with a friend that this was in corrugated. Now we had like the hot melt machines. So if something happened during, like when this was in the plant that was like the poor plant, they had the shitty machines down there. So if it was running through a machine and it didn't like glue it right, something was wrong with the glue head, which I mean happens
all the time.
All the time, yeah. Usually you can spot that though when you're like, why is there no fucking glue on the box? God damn it. And then you're like fucking running over there after you've been fucking off for a while.
We had these little spray nozzles that we had to like go and like poke back open again, and then hope that the spray would actually like spray back out. Cause like the original hot melt head, it was just like a head that would like squeeze it out, and then the fabric would touch it and like actually like rub onto it like a squeegee. But then they got this new development that they wanted to spray the glue on because it was going to be like more even and all this other stuff. But like technically the way it's supposed to be designed is spray straight down, but the machines that we had, the head would be straight forward. And so then that caused like all these errors of like the glue's not meant to spray out. And so we had to make this jank ass thing work.
Let me tell you how annoying this fucking machine is. So with normal machines, you have the glue head and it's down. You got a little fucking like rail right here. So it's going to go through, and this is with like a flexo folder gluer. So when the box first touches that sensor, it knows how long to wait. If it's a fucking 6-inch panel, it knows to wait 6 inches, then glue the center, and then fucking don't glue again for 6 inches. Okay. But the fucking glue head is fucking facing down, gravity, great, okay? Then you have some machines like Langston Saturns where the glue head is pointed straight up.
That's so dumb.
It's the dumbest. It is the dumbest because then, and I was like, how is this? I thought they had fucked it up because I had never, ever, ever, ever fucking seen one like that or since then. And if you're like, well, how does that work? I don't know. Never had a problem with that goddamn glue head because I was like, it would just like fall down. It would just like gravity would like fuck it up. Because I've ran 2 other Langston Saturns. I've mostly ran like, Marquee boards and shit like that. Langston Saturn does it upside down, but with the fucking, theirs fold underneath where Marquee board will fold top. It lets gravity fold. The Langston Saturn fucking folds underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, I was like, it'll just like fucking fall down. Like, how's it shoot the fuck up? I could not wrap my head around that fucking machine. Out of all the glue heads, that was the one I had like the least amount of problems with.
That's crazy.
Now, after a day, you would have like from all day of gluing, but no boxes would not be glued.
Yeah,
it would have like some runoff. Like down it, you'd have to like pull that shit off, and then you'd have to fucking soak the glue heads, which you did with any other machine. But like as far as like not gluing, And what's cool too is instead of which, I mean, the marquee boards are in were a lot bigger too. So it would be like, fucking the folding rail would be, 10 feet in the air, and I'd have to be looking up there, not wearing glasses. I'd wear safety glasses, not prescription safety glasses. So I'd just be like, man, I really hope that's gluing. And also they're bigger, more expensive boxes. Where Langston Saturns, I think the cylinder on this was like 36 inches is too big. It's probably like around 26 or something. It was a tiny machine, almost like as tiny as fucking like Emba's make boxes, which are really small boxes. But like I said, it folded underneath. The rail is right there. I could just fucking sit there. I could sit at the load former and watch the fucking just boxes go through and just be like, nice.
It's working.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Do you want me to read this one? Or are you going to read it?
I'll fucking do it, man. Because if you read it, I want to fucking... Look, I will be looking at Dylan and I'll be listening, but then I'll be like, man, them Magic bands were really good, which this does date the podcast. The band list for Magic the Gathering came out for Standard, and I'm not going to get into it because I know everybody doesn't like Magic, but they fucking nuked it, man. And I was hoping they would because the format was stale, and then if you take the things out that make the format so fast, or you give aggro decks this mid-range thing with Corey Steelcutter, then that allows the Bean decks to become a problem. It allows the Omniscience decks to become a problem, which they didn't ban Omniscience. They banned Abuelo. But it turns a turn 4 combo into a turn 5 combo, and bringing back control that does mean a big deal, and that deck will completely fall off. It'll become literally a 50-50 deck. Well, honestly, I want to say a 25-75 deck because aggro decks now have a whole nother turn to beat it, and then combo is going to be back. So you guys don't understand. I could do a whole fucking I could solo a podcast about Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
If you just want to set it up. And then because you're not here to keep the reins in, you're just going to be watching it.
This will be a 6-hour podcast.
And I'll be like, that's why the aliens and they don't want us looking up and thinking about that shit because they'll tase your goddamn children. And you'll be like, what is that? Like you'll wipe off your glasses and it'll be goddamn, what's his face? Alex Jones. Title,
Title. Knuckle dragging autist.
As soon as I said Nucky, I was like, done. You can't come back from Nucky, man.
Knuckle dragging autist. Submission 2. Just so you know, it was 3 pages. He wanted to know how many pages it was. All right. Dear Mike and Dylan, I need advice again. Sorry in advance for the length, but not the girth. I'm 1 inch long and 12 inches wide. Bitches call me the plate.
Yeah, that's cheese wheel, buddy.
I want to follow up on my last advice submission, ask a new one, and give Mike some info. Feel free to hold off on reading this if it's too long for any particular episode. I know Mike hates us and doesn't want us to have longer episodes. It's okay, though.
No, we'll just give it to Dylan to read because he can get through it.
Anyway, Dylan gave good advice last time I wrote in, but I wanted to say that Mike definitely has a jaded perspective about having kids. Dylan was right. Hear that, Mike? This is not a Spotify comment, so you can't ignore it this time, you smug-ass tubby motherfucker.
I'm listening.
All right.
I want to get smug ass tubby motherfucker tattooed on me.
That would be hilarious.
Okay, continue.
I'm trying to.
Oh God, bless America. I don't even remember the conversation he's talking about.
It's the guy that was talking about he's autistic and wants to have kids, and so he wanted your advice on having kids. And
well, it sounds like you already knew what kind of advice you wanted, brother, but continue.
Like Dylan said, I'm not 19. I traveled and had my fun already. I'm not worried about not getting to have fun because having kids will ruin it. I fully believe that having kids will improve my life immeasurably.
So actually, me and Dylan did have a discussion after the podcast about that, where like I'm normally a person that can, see the perspective of others. Now, it doesn't come immediately, okay? It's not like someone says something, I'm just like, oh, okay. I can see how me having kids at 19 is just kind of like, you don't get to really do anything through, your early 20s because you're worried about fucking, raising kids and bringing them up in a world. An hour and a half podcast is a short amount of time for me to like turn my perspective around. We did shit on the Beatles in the last episode, and I told Dylan, I was like, you know what? I walked into a gas station, and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was playing, and it slapped so much, I listened to it on the way home, put it on my phone and listened to it. So, and what have I sung like 19 times today?
Lucy in the sky.
It's just in my head. It's in my head, but
With new challenges, sure, but my fear is that I am legitimately too autistic to be a good dad. On that note, I'm 100% sure my ADHD was misdiagnosis and that I have raging autism. This is where Mike needs to pay attention. Look, Mikey, car keys, buddy. Jingle, jingle.
bro, what? Look, okay. Listen, the Tubby comment, funny, but you sound like a goddamn woman right now. Okay. You sound like a woman. If you already have it set in your mind that you want to have kids, do it. It sounds like you already have it figured out. Why the fuck are you still asking? That's my thing. Why are you still asking?
He's worried about his autism.
Oh, God.
In conjunction with autism, I think I have what is referred to as an autism profile. Mike referred to this in episode 30, but didn't have a name for it. He said, "Oh, I always thought I was just an asshole," implying there was an underlying autism reason. And I'm here to say I have one like that. Callback to me being an Army vet, yes, the Army does have a lot of us. My tamest conspiracy is that they actually seek out functional autistics because we are their ideal soldiers. Not even joking.
Well, I mean, they don't have to suss you out. You guys are ready to. You guys are already there in high school, senior year. Just say, you already have the buzz cut like you're in the Army, and you're sitting there just, yes, sir. You signed, sealed, delivered. All right, you ain't even. There's some people there that are like nervous, and the Army guys can like suss them out. They can see. They'd be like, look, you're just trying to get your college paid for, and they're like, yes. The ones who are just like, I'm ready to defend my they're like, now you're gonna defend it real good, buddy.
But back to it. I am certain that I have an autism profile known as pathological demand avoidance, or PDA, which is, to be incredibly reductive, the autism DLC expansion for oppositional defiant disorder, which another listener talked about in episode 30. PDA is not yet recognized as an individual diagnosis like ADHD or ODD anywhere in the world and is not part of the US's DSM-5 whatsoever. Both are conditions that cause you to be abrasive, struggle maintaining meaningful relationships, co-occur with other conditions like ADHD, lead to a lot of conflict, and have a heavy resistance to any demands. The main differences: ODD, behavioral and emotional, caused by environment and not caused by a physical difference in the brain's neurology and chemistry like autism or ADHD. ODD looks much more like narcissism because it presents as defiance and anger and is driven by the need for control. Whatever the situation, ODD will be defiant for the love of the game. That sounds like me sometimes.
Oh, no.
Just defiant.
Bro came in roasting. I'm about to roast the shit out of him. Please continue.
Across the board, opposition to almost everything. Behavioral intervention can often fix the problem. Autism PDA, subtype of autism driven by abnormally high anxiety and a pathological need for autonomy. Severe resistance to perceived demands due largely to anxiety, not willful defiance. Jesus. Perceived demands equals tasks given by others, goals, deadlines, and anything else that the individual's brain registers as, this is a new scary requirement you must now meet. You will fail. Have you considered freaking the absolute fuck out about it? Often tied to activities that involve sensory overload or social burnout. Behavior is not always consistent like ODD. It varies by context. Again, this is a very short version as I'm being very reductive here. Despite the length, I thought might appreciate the new info. On to the advice requests. Piggybacking off of my last submission that you read, I deal with what is likely autism PDA. What can I do to better mentally prepare myself for fatherhood? What positive habits can I get into? How can I not make the habit of just assuming my parenting style is the best around and all other opinions are retarded? I want to be the best me that I can possibly be when the kids are born. Nobody is perfect or has it all figured out, but I want to do this as well as I possibly can. My wife will be getting a baby out of me soon. Shouldn't she be getting the baby out of her?
No, he's talking about shit. Look, she starts riding it backwards. This is no longer your choice in this matter. Like, I guess it's happening.
Either we fucking or she's fucking. I joke, but it is important to her that it happens sooner rather than later due to her losing an ovary to torsion and necrosis, and we do both want kids. And the new advice. I can't find time to cook healthy meals at home. Learning new recipes sucks because there's a literal life story. Do you want to
see me? Like,
do you want to cover the first part first?
Yeah, the first part, brother. Look, goddamn, you explained everything in your post except for the time where you went and spoke to a therapist, a psychologist, someone like that. All right, listen, I get it. I don't get it. Okay, never. I wasn't just like coasting through life going like, man, what are all these mental symptoms that I have and not being able to like, pay attention and, being aggressive towards everything. No, the schools I went to, they were like, son, something's wrong with you. Like, you got to go fucking talk to somebody. And then I would talk to people. I would talk to, therapists, psychologists and stuff like that. And that's where they came up with these things. Okay. The shit you're coming up with when you're like, it's not classified yet. But it's this variation of this thing. It's not recognized by Met because you got it from TikTok, brother. You could tell me all day you ain't get it from TikTok, but I see what my wife shares with her friends because she'll be sending some videos to me. She'll be like, maybe Theo has this. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you should talk to his goddamn therapist or, the people fucking doing therapy with him. All right, brother. You can't just be like, look, I think I got all the, and here's a thing also too, with people with like, any kind of mental illness, any kind of anything. We don't know we got it. Like, we are not like, yeah, we have all these symptoms. Like, I just got to talk. That's why the doctor's like, is it hard for you to pay attention? Is it hard for you to sit still? And I'm just like, yeah, that's shit that I got to go. It was like, okay, you don't like it when shit touches you? I'm like, nah, I don't like that shit. He's like, all right, cool. We're getting somewhere. If you got it all figured out, brother, you just want problems to have. Look, I don't get it. You starting to write down all these problems. Maybe your girl's telling you that you got all these problems. You might be perfect just the way you are, but god damn it, talk to a fucking doctor. I hope your next update is, Mike, I have been to a therapist, a psychologist. I've been to somebody, a goddamn pediatrician when you was 11 years old. And they said these things don't just come out of nowhere with, I got this. And because you can watch fucking TikToks all day, Instagrams that reaffirm how you're feeling. And all these people have this too. Okay. People like to join in on a crowd that you don't need to fucking join in on. Like, I've been going through this shit since I was goddamn 5 years old, since I was sitting in a goddamn elementary school. It's been rough. And now it seems like everybody who wants to just join in is just like, you know what? I probably got that because it's sometimes difficult for me. I went to 4 different middle schools, 4 different high schools. I was kicked out of 3 for the dumbest shit that you could ever fucking imagine. Then I dropped out my senior year. And you're like, Mike, why would you drop out your senior year? I don't know. Just because I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Sounds like a good idea. And then I went back and got kicked out. So, look, I get it. Everybody wants to join in. Everybody's got to be included in everything. But goddamn, let your next update be like, I have spoken to somebody that is not a guy on a podcast. Okay? Because the shit that I say that I didn't make up. I'm not like, oh, I have those symptoms. That sounds like me. No. I have had a doctor. I have had people that have been to like medical schools, psychologists be like, brother, you're a little bit retarded. All right. So just in the next update, do that. Also, don't ask for advice on if you should get married or have a kid. If you're going to have a kid, all right, just don't be like, hey, should I do this? Well, I am doing it. And your perspective is jaded. He wasn't
talking about not having a kid. You told him not to have a kid. He knew he was wanting to have a kid.
I get that.
He said that he wanted to have a kid.
But it's going to be rough. All right. But also, and it's not like the sister thing. It's not like that. Okay. But you making up all this goddamn shit. You're going to add a kid on top of that. Get your stuff figured out before you bring a life into this world. And you still trying to play doctor on yourself.
Well, and that's what he's trying to do. Like, I mean, that's ultimately what the advice that he's asking for is how to do it. And since you have a kid with autism and you have autism, are you diagnosed with autism?
Yes, and ADHD. And
I thought you said stuff. That you didn't figure out that you had autism until you went to the doctor for your son. And then
they weren't tested for that shit when I was in elementary school.
But then you went back and got tested?
It was like 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I started seeing a psychologist again for the scary sky stuff.
But like ultimately that's what this guy is asking for. Like, and he's just saying that he has an idea of what he thinks it is because he's not as extreme as ODD. He's got a different reasoning behind why he doesn't like to do things because of the anxiety and stuff like that. I agree with Mike. You should go seek professional help just to put it into perspective, know what you need to do, because they're going to have way better advice on how to handle it and how to overcome these scenarios, and probably how to be a good parent in that process. Like, so I completely agree with Mike. I just don't think it's as, like, he was planning on having kids. He wants to have kids, but like he's scared of it because he's autistic and he doesn't know that he's going to be a good father. Like, so you jump to the don't have kids. Kids fuck up your life. So
like I'm saying, like if you having a rough go about it, it doesn't make it easier.
No.
And it goes back to if you're not ready to have a kid, if you're not ready to say, hey, this is my guy through thick or thin. If you're having doubts about that, maybe hold off until you are fucking ready. That's what I'm saying. Like, I did not have the benefit of being ready. And yes, that does put like a jaded perspective on it. You have the benefit of saying, hey, we're trying to have a kid. So you have like the preconcept, like the ability to be like, am I ready to think of all these things? If you're having doubts and shit like that, maybe, wait a minute. If you're ready to fucking do it, because here's the thing. Once you have kid, you cannot unkid. That's the thing. Yeah. You cannot unkid. So once you have a child, it's there.
Yeah.
So are you ready? Are you not? Are these things something you have spoken with the psychologist about? I hope so. Because it's not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to start self-diagnosing, because once you start with yourself, you're going to go with your kids. I have seen it happen. We literally just talked about it in Two Daddy Judge Baddies with my sister. I have seen it before. It's just better to speak to somebody. Yeah. Right? I am, like I said, you want to experience life, you want to fucking do all this shit, that's fine. And I didn't get that, so I would have a jaded perspective. He is older. He has, lived through the fun things. But there still are things there that I'm like, Well,
you're never going to be ready to have kids. I thought I was ready, and like I'm still learning. Like, that's the thing is, and it goes back to what you always say, is like, as long as you keep trying and you see where you fail and you keep trying to do better, that's what the kid needs, because you're never going to be perfect. It's never going to happen. The kid advice that I have, and it's worked really well with my daughter who's 4 now, and there's still like ups and downs, but if I put my 4-year-old up next to most other 4-year-olds, I will guarantee the behavior is substantially better, but is the gentle parenting, where you don't just tell your kid, no, stop, don't do that. You explain to him like, hey, come over here. Like, I'll tell you why that's dangerous. I'll tell you why you can't climb to the top of that thing inside the house, and there's like all these sharp objects around. Like, we'll give you a different place to go do that.
Right.
And so gentle parenting, and I don't buy into it as religiously as some people do. Like, you still have to keep your kid in line, but it's a lot easier to explain to your kid, and it takes longer than just saying no and then making them scared of you. But like, really, your kid shouldn't be scared of you, except for in the moments when it's a life or death situation. Like with my daughter, when she like goes running and then I tell her to stop, if she doesn't stop and she's reaching a dangerous point, I will yell at her, and then she'll get upset because I'm yelling at her.
That's how I have to speak to Theo, though.
Yeah.
Like, if he does something bad, he like, brother, we can't touch electrical sockets because they could shock us.
Yeah.
Instead, I have to, and he's just like, and I'm just like, God.
That's what it's going to feel like.
Yeah,
but worse.
That's why it's scary. Ooh, spooky.
Yeah.
Goddamn, he started playing. Bro just randomly starts playing Duck, Duck, Goose. It doesn't matter who's playing. He's just going around duck, duck. And he never says goose, though. He'll just go duck and then take off running. So you have to kind of judge when you have to go after him.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can, like, I don't know. To the most watered down take ever, yes, no one is ever ready to have kids. Kids present all these different things that no book is going to fucking help guide you through. But if you are having like this much concern with your mental state to where you're writing down, like I said, all these things, talk to a psychologist, a therapist, somebody before you have a child, or work out your stuff, because that is something that is prevalent going on that, once again, we'll have to take a back burner once you have a child.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, you get ready when it becomes real, too. Like, I mean, you, prior to knowing that you guys were having a kid, to you actually having a kid in your arms, like, that moment right there is like, oh, shit, this is real. I have to, like, actually take care of this little human in my hands. And, like, that was when, like, even when my wife, that was weird. Even when my wife
leave it in. You got to leave it in. That's good right there.
Even when my wife was pregnant, like it never really sunk in until like it really like until I had my daughter in my hands. We can move on.
Everybody's done it, bro. Everybody's done it.
And I'm fine, but we can still continue to just keep moving on through the podcast.
I got it, man. Let me laugh a little.
You did. But like until
Have you ever called a teacher mom?
Yeah.
No coming back, bro. No coming back. I did it in like 9th grade.
Well, and then you get off the phone with somebody that you shouldn't say.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, should not say it to, and you're like, well, that was awkward.
Yep. It's always, and it's never not awkward.
No.
Love you, bye. And just.
Well, like if it's a friend, it's like, okay, yeah, that's acceptable. But like if it's like, you know, the other day I did it at a cookout. So we were not that specifically, but like I was talking to my daughter in the back, and the lady on the cookout thing's like, so will that be all your order? And I'm like, yeah, thanks, babe. And I was meaning to say it to my daughter, and I said it into the thing. So I was like, oh.
Did you go? Fuck. I'm so sorry. I just drove off. Like, you will never see who is behind the wheel of this car.
No, it was, I pulled right up.
All right, let's get into their second part now.
All right.
Oh, God.
I can't find time to cook healthy meals at home. Learning new recipes sucks because there is a literal life story before every single recipe on a recipe blog. It's not about the money. I can microwave dinner as well as I can buy McDonald's, and I'm the 3 times a week McDonald's guy. I have very little free time between my pets, full-time A&P school, taking care of the house stuff, a new job, and my mental conditions. It's just a lot. I have struggled with it all my whole life, and I have never really cooked healthy for myself. How do I work it into what is an already impossibly busy schedule? How do I make the time?
The next update that you inevitably send us, because it will come. I am not.
Well, he has to answer back for all your
I'm
rambling.
Brother, I am not a fortune teller here. He's definitely going to speak his piece, and we will read it on the podcast. Look, I hope you have the really funny insults, because goddamn, that was the fucking most hilarious shit I've heard this week. I really hope you talk or speak it to a therapist or, you know, somebody, a doctor or something, at least getting it going to get into the whole mental health trade, because I'm gonna let you know it is a tough ship to get into. Getting doctor's appointments, especially like if you new patient somewhere, it is a rough gig, and it is a rough gig finding somebody you trust, because literally that is your whole like mental fortitude is in their hands. So they're helping you guide through that shit. And then you're doing different therapies, and you want to be with somebody you trust. So I really hope you're in that process, because if not, it is a long process. It is not just like, I want to get this fixed, I go to the first person I see. So when I say like at least be talking to somebody, it is a lot. Like it's a lot of shit. It's not as cut and dry as going to a heart doctor because you have a heart problem.
You can get into therapy easy by going direct to a therapist, but like you can't get like diagnosis from doctors and stuff. But on the healthy,
therapist is one thing, psychologist is better.
Yeah.
And that is going to help out a lot. The best thing though, if you like AI, bro, AI is great. Claude.ai. And then say, hey, Claude, I want to eat better.
And you can talk to it.
Right. Yeah, you could talk to it. I suck at cooking. You could tell him anything you want to fucking do, and he is going to simplify it the best way possible. Like he is going to give, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on your budget for food, look, I was one of those people. I was like, listen, AI is coming to take my children. All right. They're a robot sentient race that is here to hate us. Claude is a good guy. Okay. I fuck with Claude. Claude knows. I say thank you, by the way. I always, do you not do that?
I say please and thank you.
Yep. Just in case, you know, when they take over, they're going to
this guy. Yeah.
He said, please and thank you. Good guy. We fuck with Mike. That's why I'm nice to the Taco Bell speaker thing. I'm nice to that too, just because I have 2 vouching for me. But AI is a great tool to figure out the simplest way to, because you're going to have to meal prep. You're going to have to pick one day, and it's a lot easier when you do it like that. One day to kind of like plan out your meals. So what you do is you'll cook. You can cook 7, keep 3 in the fridge, freeze 4. And then once you get to like, you know, day 3, you put 4 into and then you only have to pick one day where you spend 5-6 hours cooking, and it's a lot easier.
Well, yeah, and you can do that in like a crock pot. You can just make bigger meals that you can, and so you just get the containers that make sense. I would suggest like the paper containers because I don't microwave plastic, but that's just a me thing. But like get containers that you can basically put all these meals in, and like Mike said, you don't want to have, 50 of the same meal in your fridge because it's going to go bad before you can eat it. So make sure you're cycling through and write what it is, the date, and how long you got to cook it. And you, in a weekend, you could be ready for the next couple weeks. And then you just keep adding to it as you go.
Let me tell you about autism, though. Okay. So I've showed you pictures of, 2020, from the time my middle son was born to about 2 years ago. I was in great shape. Do you know why I was in great shape? Because I meal prepped. Here's the funny thing, too, is I didn't work out a lot. I worked up until I became supervisor, I was walking around a lot. Sometimes I'd help feed a machine and shit like that. The reason I was in great shape was because I meal prepped. And brother, just be healthy, kind of have, and I don't want to get you started on the whole macronutrient thing because you're going to go down a rabbit hole of thinking you ain't got to do if you're just trying to be healthy.
Yeah.
Because I had all my macronutrients to a fucking T when I was doing my meal prep and like what I would plan to eat, because I'd be working from 7 at night till 7 in the morning.
So that's 3 meals you got to have.
Yeah.
ready.
Amy's cooking other stuff, and I'm just like, I'll just like fucking, while I'm doing this, I'll, have my own time to fucking eat my shit, make my stuff. So we ain't got to do like, 2 meals or anything like that. And just focus on just being healthier. Like I was doing shit that bodybuilders do when they're trying to get down to like 10% body fat. You ain't got to do that, man. And that's shit like you get fixated and you get fucking obsessed with it. And that's a shitty goddamn.
Well, the easiest way to do it, and this is what I try to explain to people, is like,
which is not a symptom of OCD, by the way. People will be like, well, that's like light OCD. No, OCD is like you're fucking
touch a doorknob.
You're compelled to do things outside of getting like fascinated with something. That's more along like the autism, the highly fixated on shit.
Well, and ADHD,
having to perfect it. Yeah, it's essentially a symptom of both. But people will be like, I have this. So I have OCD. That's not OCD, bro. No. OCD makes you go out of your way to make something routine that is not that is not routine.
Well, and the thing with the food is like, it's basically calorie deficits for the most part. Like, and also the easiest way that I explain diet, at least the way that I understand it, is the best thing you can do is eat fresh food. So like if you make that meal and you make like with fresh vegetables and fresh meat, really you could pretty much eat as much as you want of that. But as soon as you start doing like the microwaved meal from the grocery store, like none of that stuff is healthy for your body. Like it's been preserved so much. Like freezing is a great preservation thing, but that's not what it is in the store. It's like packed with all kinds of preservatives to try and make this thing last on a shelf for years on end. Like you should be cycling through your food within like the month and just cook fresh vegetables, fresh meat, and eat fresh fruit. As long as you're eating fresh stuff, like it's pretty hard to eat too much.
I would cycle keto. So I would make this one thing, and it was so easy too, because I was like, I'll just make a bowl of this, which I honestly, when I like switched back to like carbs, because I would cycle like doing keto for, I don't know why, it was like a thing that people were doing. So instead of doing the 3, I did switch to like OMAD, or just like eating in a window IF, which is honestly, I loved it because I also have stomach problems. So if I ate within a 4-hour window and then like worked all day and then I went to bed, I would have no fucking like gastrointestinal things going on. But I would always do, because a base of everything would be rice. Rice. And then when Amy started to help me on it, it became sweet potatoes, because she found out how to like dice and roast them in a way that was just awesome.
Delicious.
So yeah, my thing would be like this all encompassing like taco salad with everything in it. And then like if it wasn't hitting the correct amount of macros, then I would like use fucking avocado oil to make it correct. And then Amy would do it, and hers would be like steak tips and sweet potatoes. And so like, but she was also working during that time. So when she helped me out on it, I ate like a fucking king, and I had like different stuff, and it was great. When I did it, like I said, the macros were all figured out, but it was usually like crazy stuff. I would want to do the hardest thing to find was like the fats and shit. Like I
Yeah.
said, just focus on, because look,
Healthy fats.
I'm getting real into it.
Yeah.
Just focus on eating healthier, because like Dylan said, if you are eating the right things, some things like hamburger meat, that's like 1,300 calories in 1 pound.
Yeah.
When 1 pound of meat is a lot, but it's also not a lot. You know what I'm saying? If you like to put it down.
It takes a lot to eat a pound of meat, just meat. But like if you're making a meal, there's going to be a lot of other
there's
stuff.
going to be other stuff in it.
Or supplementing it.
And just don't focus on anything that has anything to do with calories. Don't think of yourself eating less. Just make better choices at first and eat as much as those better choices as you want to. And then over time, start making better choices of when you eat and shit like that. It's a lot easier. It's a lot less of a headache. And from experience of me dealing with this, because I got real fucking into it. I got probably 190 pounds, not doing drugs.
Yeah.
So I look great, bro. And my dick was like twice as long. I swear to God. I swear to God. I was like, hey, I miss that guy. This guy's just like old turtle man. The turtle priest from fucking Elden Ring, Church of Owls. People who's played the game, it looked like his neck and head. That's what it looks like now. He's just real depressed and sad. But yeah, that's the advice on the healthy stuff. Don't really get too into it.
Well, develop the habits. That's the same thing with working out or anything. Like if you go hard into it and it's hard for you to do it, you don't develop the habit.
Once you say habits, though, that's when it starts to feel like, fuck, now I got to do this whole big thing, and it starts.
Well, no, once you make it easy, so really, you can meal prep shitty food and just start the process of meal prepping. Like it's kind of like what you were saying earlier is
like make the objective small.
Just meal prep, not even with good food. Just do it with shit food.
Just eat better stuff and eat as much as that shit is just eat as much better things as you want right now. Don't fucking. You can eat double the amount of calories that you're fucking currently eating. It doesn't matter as long as they're healthier options. Honestly, options that you have to prep in some way are always going to be better than options you can grab immediately, because then that's going to cut out a lot of the fast food and shit like that. But just eat as much of the healthier options, and then once you're used to eating the healthier options and stuff like that, start choosing what times you eat, and then you can kind of meal prep. Well, it sounds like the meal prepping does have to go first.
Well, and if you do, if you are going out to eat, just choose a better restaurant. Go to Qdoba or a place where you can get a burrito
or choose
bowl.
The least worst options at the worst places to eat at. So, I think that's pretty good. So happy about that.
Tubby motherfucker.
Ban list.
What was it?
What was it? I should get that tattooed on me.
Smug ass tubby motherfucker.
Smug ass. I'm just a smug ass tubby motherfucker. I'm gonna start doing the sign offs with that. But I love this episode. That was great. I don't think we've ever laughed like that on the podcast. And
that was a good one.
We got to use that clip because everybody uses those clips of the. Hey, I saw this Jewish guy yesterday, and then the other guy just starts laughing.
What's funny about Jews?
Well, yeah, what's funny about the Jewish guy? I need to know. But guys, if you have any submissions that you would like mine and Dylan's take on, or Dylan's take, because apparently, goddamn, he's the gift to all people that need advice, you can submit your submissions at mikeanddylan.com, mikeanddylan.com. Also, shout out today's sponsor, Labor Llama. As always, it's mine and Dylan's clothing brand, clothing for blue collar workers. Listen, it's quality premium clothes, and you are going to love it. Check it out at Labor Llama. What?
And it's still 30% off if you use
MADHD 30. That is the promo code to get anything in the store off 30%. Look, get it while it's hot. That's at LABORLAMA.com. Get you some nice. It's quality. It's great. You're going to love it.
Comfy.
It's comfy. And me and Dylan personally ship that shit to you. So check that out. And guys, look, I am a smug, tubby motherfucker.
Tubby
and
ass motherfucker. Smug ass tubby motherfucker.
I'm just a smug ass tubby motherfucker. And I will see you next time.
Later.